Go.
What's going on? Welcome into the special edition of the High School Football Live Show. We're up here in the Bay Area to talk a little bit about some high school football. Last night, obviously, we were traveling up here, so we had to move the show a little bit. But we're excited to talk some high school football with you guys as well. I would imagine most people might be watching this on a tape delay later on, but we still wanted to get you guys our thoughts on last week, our thoughts on the top 10. We'll pick a handful of games as well. So let's talk a little bit about.
Hey, before we get started, can I just mention one thing?
Yes.
Let's digress for a minute. I know it's a high school football show, but do you know who the Giants are playing this week in up here in the Bay Area?
Who they played this weekend?
Yeah,
Who they played? They played the
Padres,
San Diego
right?
Padres.
So
Able to split.
So when I'm wearing my Padres gear and I'm on the plane to San Francisco, you know how many dirty looks I got from flight attendants and people at the airport and everybody talking trash about me wearing a Padres jersey?
Probably a handful at this point.
Dude, it was like everywhere I turned around, somebody was talking trash about it. So I'm just saying.
Well, you do know this guy right here, this little guy right here, is going to be the reason. Is going to be the reason why the Dodgers win the division, because the Padres, in order to make the playoffs, are going to have to beat the Giants a handful of times.
Yeah.
And the more they beat the Giants, the more they fall down, and the more the Dodgers will rank up. So I can see why people don't like you up here. That's with the Padres stuff on, but fine.
We got to rep, man. It's all about Dago.
Absolutely.
We talk about San Diego high school football. Obviously, we travel outside of San Diego like we are here in this beautiful hotel.
That's right.
Get ready to watch a great game tonight. We still got to rep San Diego, no matter what.
And the Padres will play the St. Louis Cardinals tonight for a very big 3-game series in St. Louis. Half game back with 3 against St. Louis. It should be a fun one, but we're not talking baseball. We're talking high school football. Right. Let's talk a little bit about last week. We had some very large scores last week. One in particular, the Cathedral Catholic Dons gave Helix the worst loss in their school history by beating them 52-0. It was only the second time ever in Helix history that they have ever given up 52 points. They gave up 52 points to Oxnard back in 1957.
How do you know that?
I looked it up on Parleton Sports.
I knew you would. See, everybody knows that. Shameless plug, ParletonSports.com.
52-6 was the score way back in the day. So
is this the worst loss in school history?
It is. I just said that. Worst loss in school history. Now that's assuming that they still have to play Servite in Mission Viejo. So I don't know. That might not be a long-lasting record at this point in time.
Are you trying to say that they're going to get mollywopped by those other two teams?
Well, I will say the Trinity League doesn't take it easy on teams, so they might just keep going. So we'll see how it goes. But that Servite team's going to be very good.
Yeah,
I saw them. That Mission Viejo team's going to be pretty good.
You know what words come to mind when I think about Servite?
Tongans?
Tongan and Samoans.
You saw them at the
they're huge.
So that game's going to be we'll see how that game goes, and hopefully Helix can represent well against San Diego. But they're very young football team.
They are
a lot of sophomores. When I called the game for Cathedral's live stream, and Robbie Owens. By the way, I got to give Robbie Owens a shout out. Robbie Owens is the best coach in San Diego when it comes to providing me a depth chart. The thing is top notch. I mean, it's 3 deep everywhere. He's got short snapper, long snapper, punter, kicker, holder, 3 deep everywhere.
The guy's a professional.
The guy's and he's not afraid to send a depth chart to a JV coach, which I know some coaches are. Yeah. And my thing with the whole depth chart, how much? I mean, let me ask you, Chris, how much do you think sending a depth chart to a junior varsity coach in the program is going to put you at a disadvantage? The answer is none.
Well, hold on. I mean,
I'm
from your perspective.
I'll explain my counterpoint after you're done.
Okay. I think it depends on the program you're playing against. It depends on the caliber of the coaching staff, and it depends on what your depth chart looks like. I mean, if you got a lot of injuries, you might not want to send that depth chart over to somebody, to a JV coach, because he may turn over to a head coach, and that affects the play calling during the game. How often? I wouldn't say very often, but I think, it can affect the outcome of a game if you give up your depth chart.
No. And here's why.
Okay, let's hear your
Because the other team already has all the tape on you. So I know exactly who plays where and who starts. Okay. All you're doing is making my job more of a pain in the butt, because now I have to go in there.
Well, why would I want to help you if you're the opposing team anyway?
I'm just trying to broadcast the game for the kids and for the families. I got to know who's starting.
That's
Otherwise,
fair.
I'll just make up names. I've done that before.
You made up names.
Yeah. If you don't give me a depth chart and I don't know your roster because you don't post your roster on
What is it
MaxReps,
like-
I just start making up names.
What is it like Johnny caught touchdownpass.com or what? What did you just make
.com.
up? What? I don't know.
Like John Wayne with the carry.
John Wayne with
Tackled
the
by
carry?
Clint Eastwood. I mean, that's
Yeah?
basically,
Really?
you got to start coming up with stuff.
All right, fair enough.
I will say this.
What's
So,
the most interesting name you've ever used calling when you didn't have a roster?
I mean, it's mostly just celebrity names at that point in time. But I will say this. So
No NFL guys?
no,
Never
I want
used
to
an NFL guy?
confuse. I want to confuse people too much.
All right.
But I will say this. So my dad played at Grossmont, right? And
Right.
so one of his good friends, his name is James Bond. His legit name is James Bond. So back in the 1980s, James Bond played for Grossmont, and I forget. I think El Cap had a guy on their team. His name was John Wayne, and John Wayne played offense, and James Bond played defense.
That's
And there was a
pretty
couple times where the PA announcer said, 5-yard run by John Wayne, tackled by James
James
Bond.
Bond. You know the best name we had? It was kind of bad. We had a Asian American that
Okay.
played on our team, and his first name was THAM, and his last name was PON.
Wow. See, I get names all the time. When I broadcast different games for different sports where it's like, okay, I know it's not that, but it looks like that,
Yeah,
and it's pronounced some other way. I just cross out the name and then write what it's
The phonetic spelling?
I have to do it phonetically
You do?
because there's a lot of ones that were like, that name is not that.
yeah.
Right.
So there's a restaurant up on Elkhorn Boulevard.
Okay.
It's a Vietnamese restaurant.
Oh,
It serves one of my favorite types
does
of
it
food.
serve pho?
It does,
Yeah.
but they're the king of it.
Hmm.
So it's,
Yeah.
I'm just
the play
saying.
on
I'm
words.
just saying.
The play on words. All right. Let's get back
They're
to
the pho king.
That's right. I think people would figure that out. Let's get to the top 10 this week.
All right.
We're gonna go off.
We're not going to go our top 10 this week because we traveled. It's been a long week.
I have
We
my
gotta-
top 10. I vote in the top 10.
Good
If
for
you
you.
want me to put it on.
You know what? You do yours. I don't have one this week.
You didn't have one last week.
Yes, I
Did
did.
you have one last
Yes,
week?
I did. Apologize.
Sorry.
All right.
So I had Cathedral 1. I had Lincoln 2.
I think that
I switched those.
I would say
I
those.
switched Lincoln and Carlsbad for last week, and I didn't before last show because I was like, Carlsbad's undefeated, whatever. They only beat El Camino by 14 points. I do not have El Camino in my top 10. El Camino lost to Grossmont. I mean, they have a losing record. I'm not putting them in the top 10. And based on what
Dude.
I saw on the,
really number 4.
that's not mine. That's
Oh.
the UT poll.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Carlsbad, I'm going to give Lincoln more credit for the competition that they've played
Yes.
than what
Agreed.
Carlsbad's played.
Agreed. 100%
And if
agree.
you want to argue that Lawndale's great, look it up on CalPreps. They're like, their rating stinks. And so does
I think it's in
and
the
so does
600s.
Milliken,
Right.
and so is Great Oak. I mean,
They're just not playing strong competition.
and Lincoln played
The number 14 team in the
LaSalle,
state, yeah.
which I don't think LaSalle is as high as rated as CalPreps has them at. But I'll tell you what, they're way better than any of the teams that Carlsbad played.
Milliken,
And I'll say the same thing about, at this point in time, the toughest competition that Lincoln could face in the Avocado League, they smashed. They beat down Mission Hills, and so now we'll see. So if Carlsbad kills Mission Hills tonight, maybe
It's pretty
I
close.
reevaluate.
Right.
But at this point
Listen,
in time, I think it's Cathedral 1 and Lincoln 2, and to be honest, I really don't think you have an argument outside of those two.
No, I don't either. I don't. I mean, I 100% agree with that. I think that Cathedral has proven with their record, what they did to Helix last week, they're the best team in San Diego. Number 2, you look at Lincoln, the talent they have, what they've been able to do, their competition. And then I think after 3, 4, 5, after 3 and 4, I've said this all year, it's a big drop off.
It is, and I've talked with multiple.
And after seeing Mission Hills take a whooping to Lincoln, I'm not as high on them anymore either.
And the thing is, it's like I've talked to multiple people who vote in this poll in particular, and they have the same opinion as you. I mean, it is very outside of 1, 2, and then maybe 3. It gets very difficult for me to put 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I'll say
9, 10.
3 is barely hanging around, though, to be honest. 3 is barely hanging around at this point, in my opinion.
Carlsbad?
They're barely hanging around. They're one big loss away from not being
If they lose this,
anymore.
if they lose this weekend, and that's the other thing too. It's like with the open playoffs, I think Torrey Pines is going to get in at the 4.
I don't think Ladding wants that.
I don't think so either. I don't think
Which,
any, but I
you
don't
know,
think any team outside of
I
Lincoln
think he would
Cathedral want to
like.
be in the
I mean,
top
I
4.
think he would like it. As much as we give him a hard time, he runs a great program. Good dude. He's about his kids. But I think he'd like to pass on having to play Cathedral in the first round in the Open Division playoffs again.
I'd pass.
I don't think he
Unless
wants
I'm
to.
Cathedral or Lincoln, I would pass on being in the Open this year. And I'm usually not about that, but it's a big drop off, and I think a lot of that has to do. I think we underestimated.
We have a fan that's kind of hanging out over here.
Oh, Coach Sean Doyle's in the
No,
house.
Sean Doyle is over here. Sean, you want to say hi to the fans?
Can he fit in the screen real quick?
Yeah, he can get
Coach
in here.
Doyle's
That's
in here.
We're
Special
good.
guest. What's going on,
Special
Coach?
guest.
Oh, no, I'm cutting the middle. I'll be over
Yeah,
here.
there
You
you
can
go.
come closer to me. There you go.
What's going on, guys?
So
We're,
this was unexpected. This wasn't planned.
I did not plan this. No, I did
No.
not. I did not
So
text Sean.
Sean,
to
thank
come
you
on.
for sitting down with us. We're live. We've only got 3 people watching,
Right on.
but yeah, we both just made the trip up to,
That's
to
right.
see this game tonight. We're excited about some good football. How do you? Well,
How was the trip
Yeah, there
up?
you go.
How was the whole planning process? Not a lot of high schools, really
gonna
get
do this in
to
the regular
experience
season,
something
yeah.
like this, and for a program like yours to be able, fortunate enough to do this. I know this is a big planning in the making, trying to come up here and play De La Salle, but how are you able to put forth the effort to travel up this far north?
We over all the years we've traveled a reasonable amount of times. It's always fun to come play, especially a storied program like De La Salle. So the planning is really not as difficult as it seems. You just call Southwest and get 75 flights. Right? Call a hotel and get 40 rooms. But the flight was great. The kids we got to the airport early this morning, about 6:15, and really had no issues. Jumped on the flight, had a nice smooth flight. Went to IHOP, and now just sitting in there in the hotel until we go to pregame meal. We'll have a prayer session in about 45 minutes and get it going. Get our regular game day stuff going.
okay. So here's my question: at IHOP, who had the biggest meal?
Well, probably Coach Carusa, because the kids have to I only give them 3 choices. They're not ordering off the menu. We'd be there all day, and the bill would be in the thousands of dollars because
Right.
kids would just keep ordering. So they get 3 choices. But Coach Carusa had, I think, a triple stack of pancakes with, what did he have? He had bananas and strawberries all over it, syrup,
Oh, jeez.
whipped cream.
Is
and then
that
he
why
had-
I saw him hanging out
he's
by his
hanging out?
bedroom?
Yeah, he's
passed
asleep
out.
right
He's
now.
passed out.
He's
in
got the
room.
food coma. Huh?
Exactly.
Talk to us a little bit about the process to play De La Salle, because you've been talking about this even since I was a player back in 2012, 2013. I know there's kind of like the sister school relationship, but I know you've really been trying to put this on the schedule. Obviously, last year when Cathedral was supposed to play them initially, COVID kind of ruined that. But long time coming, and now that you're here, how does it feel knowing that you finally put the game on the schedule?
That's a great feeling. Again, a lot of people say they want to be the best, but to me, you have to play the best to be the best. And these guys are the epitome of the best. These games aren't easy to schedule. A lot of these schools are scheduled so far out and then you have to have an opening when they have an opening.
Right.
Sometimes that's only one date for each of you, and if it doesn't match up, it doesn't match up. And we got blessed last year that date matched up, and hopefully this is going to be an ongoing series. We'll see. They're going to come to our place next year, and we'll see if we can, make this just a series that we come up every other year and they come down to our place. That's our goal.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's lights out tonight? After the game, let's say it's a big win. What time the guys got to be in bed tonight?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Lights out. Who's
Lights
checking
out.
rooms?
Every coach has about 8 players that they have to deal with, so it's their responsibility.
All right.
And I'll be late out at 11, so they better take care of it.
No parties down
No
in the
parties?
lobby. No
No
parties
lobby
down.
parties?
No,
All
no,
right.
no
All
lobby parties for you.
Yeah.
For obviously De La Salle is a storied program, so a lot of people know who they are. What about this year's team? For our listeners and our viewers that don't know necessarily how good De La Salle is. What's the scouting report on film that you've watched, and what are the expectations out of the Spartans tonight that you are prepared for?
De La Salle is very well known for a lot of things, but their offensive and defensive line play is probably the biggest thing. I have never seen a team explode off of the ball on both sides of the ball like they do. And that makes it hard. I mean, they're into you immediately. So on whether it's on your offensive side and you're trying to seal or do different things, and they get into your dish right away, you got to get off the ball or get beat. And on the defense, for their offense, I mean, their backs are 3 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Everything is right now. And then they've expanded over the years, so they spread out a little bit. To me, they're similar to us. They just run the veer option, and we run the wing tee. But we have developed into multiple sets. 3 wide, throwing the ball more as they have. So it should be a similar game. Two teams battling hard.
You got a handful of kids. You got one in particular on the defensive line that's going to call this area home for the next 4 years,
Yep.
and Jackson Moy. The front seven is got a lot of talent, but some of the kids that have already shined for you so far. Give some shout outs of some of the players that have gotten the Dons this far.
Well, again, I mean, you look at Dylan Fortune, who just is. You can't just focus on Jackson because Dylan is as explosive. It's just not quite as big. You have our 2 outside backers, Harmon and Tano, who are as good as we've had coming off to the edge. And then this year, we got Victory Johnson coming over and has just filled that middle spot with Sean Kagan to make that front seven, unbelievable. And, our nose guard rotates with Maximo Mendez, who also plays guard for us because one of the twins is injured, or has been lately. And then Jack Janikowski, who, rotated that nose. And, again, just physical, strong players that we're going to need every bit from them tonight, to get the job done. And then it's backed by a great young defensive backfield. You have Donovan Saunders, a senior, who's phenomenal at corner, which we would have had him for 4 years. I think he would be going any place he wanted to. But, you have a freshman strong safety, a junior free safety, and, the other corner young and rotating in it with Jack and Doc. So we're looking forward to a great game.
Offensively, obviously, quarterback Charlie Meyer. You got a 1-2 punch with Lucky Sutton and Darian Whaley. Sometimes Tano Latuli mixes it in there as a ball carrier. You got weapons on the outside with Rex Haynes, Derek Wu, a nice possession receiver. I mean, you got a lot of different options. And when it comes to moving the ball offensively, how's the team been clicking so far? And what kind of it's a lot more depth than when I played on offense, and I get that a lot from alum too. They go, wow, they got gigantic line, and they got all these players. But talk a little bit, because I know you're the one calling all the shots offensively. Talk to us a little bit about your offense.
The hardest part is trying to get the ball into all of those kids'
That
hands.
was going to be my question. You only got one football, Coach. How do you keep everybody happy?
You just try to maneuver guys. Coach Barry does a great job trying to maneuver kids into different spots so they have different opportunities to get the ball. You have Lucky, who's long, fast with power. And then you got Darian, who's fast with super power. I mean, the guy's just so explosive and so physical. And like you said, off the edge, we can get the ball, and Charlie throws it well, and a big offensive line. The first game we lose. I mean, we win, but we lose five turnovers. I mean, that's unheard of. You have 5 turnovers and you're able to win a football game.
Really,
week 2, we went up to Centennial, and I knew when we walked out of the locker room, you could see it in their eyes. There was an unsureness, going up there, and from a lot of the kids. And they're in an unbelievable football program, unbelievable football team, and they got the best of us. We did some stuff up there that I would not necessarily have done in a game that I thought would be closer, but I thought we would have to score 40+ to win that game. Just as explosive as they were on the offensive side, you could see right away. So I don't think the score really dictated, the type of game that it was. But I tell you what, it woke our kids up.
That was my question. You play a game like that, it prepares these guys for later in the season. They start to get in the league. How is that going to pay dividends when you have to go late in the season, when you're going to have to go against Saints, and then last game of the year, you're scheduled to play against Lincoln? How does a game like that's really tough early in the season prepare your guys for later in the season and even into the playoffs?
Well, it's just like this game. I mean, these two, I think that Centennial's ranked 5th in the country or some crazy thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
They're a phenomenal program, and De La Salle's right up there. So you play these programs, and we've been there and done that. So when we see Saints and we see Lincoln, we've played teams just like them. So it's not you're not looking in awe at these teams. Lincoln could very well be 8-1 when we play them. You know what I mean? In that last game, and the awe factor kind of goes away because we've already played teams like that.
Right.
So
it kind of gives your team an advantage, if you will, because they've already been there, done that.
right,
That's
our hope.
The jitters are gone.
Right,
They're
that's
just
our
right
hope.
there to execute and play football.
Coach, I know you got a schedule routine. We got to get through all the spots. I got one more question for you. It came up on the Coaches Corner this week. It was about freshman football and the question of, coaches, are we in favor of freshman football or should we go back to the JV only type of philosophy? And a lot of coaches wanted freshmen. Some were like, we don't have the numbers. Obviously, with a program like yours, you have numbers to benefit from not only one freshman program but two. But talk to us a little bit about the decision making when it comes to having a freshman football program and how important freshman football is to high school football.
I think it's incredibly important. At Cathedral, 60% of our kids, 70% of our kids have never played a down of tackle football. They are all flag football, parochial kids, or kids from the public schools that just never played Pop Warner. Right. So to be able to play as a freshman and learn the game and how to hit properly and be safe and all that, just pays unbelievable dividends. And this year we're blessed. Last year the numbers went a little down, but every sport was at the same time, so it was hard for freshmen to pick.
Right.
But we're definitely blessed with numbers this year with two teams, and again, it means all the difference in the world. We have a young man that's playing with the Washington football team in the NFL that was on our gold team as a freshman and didn't really even start that year, and all of a sudden. Yeah. He goes to 6'3", 240 and runs a 4.6 40, and it's like, okay, that dude can play football. And if we didn't have a freshman team, he may never have come out. You know what I mean? He may never have come back. He might have come out for the JV as a freshman and just not done it. Right. So I think it's important, no matter how big or small the teams are. I mean, our freshman team has gotten a pretty good whooping from Bosco and Mater Dei up in Orange County, but again, that's only going to better them in the long run because you start seeing that's how good we want to be. It takes work to get there.
It's work and motivation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach, I'm taking enough of your time. Thanks again for jumping in with us. Really appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Thanks again.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Well, that surprise guest,
that
Sean Doyle, jumped in. I did not.
He started making his way over here.
He started walking over saying,
I'm like,
hi.
dude, we got to shut this thing down because Coach is coming.
That's
like,
right.
Are you in trouble?
That was a good interview. I wanted to, pick his brain on the freshman thing. I saw that in the Coaches Corner. I agree. I mean, obviously, not every program has the ability to have the numbers, right? But I think it's important because, we're teaching a lot of kids the game. And the thing is, it's like even right now on JV for myself, my brother coaches freshmen at Cathedral, but like, it's amazing how many of our kids don't know football. Like, they just don't know it. I mean, they don't. With all the distractions now, with social media and stuff, and kids just buried in their phones, like they don't watch football anymore. They're not outside playing sports, and I think it's very important to have that freshman team. And I think again, we talked about it, just the impact of not playing for a year had on a lot of these kids because there's a lot of kids that my brother has on freshmen that haven't played sports since 7th grade.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Right.
Outside of a program like Cathedral, I'll say this though. I'm pretty big in the city conference. A program like Cathedral can afford to have multiple freshman teams.
Right.
They've got equipment, they've got coaches, they've got staff, they got numbers. My problem with the whole freshman football thing comes in when if I don't have enough numbers in my program to have a JV, and you're forcing me to have a freshman team.
Right.
That's when I have an issue with it. I think that it should be optional, not required for every program to have freshman football.
I don't. It's not mandatory.
There are some things. In other words, like there's some financial benefits, but if you do have freshman football, you get XYZ money.
You get more state funding.
You get more. I think it's more. I don't want to call out a professional football organization on our show today. But in order to get funds from that professional football,
you have to have a freshman. I knew that.
In order to get money from that professional football team that used to be in San Diego, you have to have freshman football. And I'll be honest, I think that's kind of BS. I think that
I mean, I understand. The philosophy, obviously, Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. The philosophy is obviously we want to try to grow the game. We're going to give you more money in order to, give more kids the opportunity. But like we talked about last
that
week
defeats
with
the entire purpose, though. Because here's the thing: the programs that need the money, more of that money, have the least amount of numbers.
I know what I
So
was
you're
going to.
rewarding programs that already have the numbers. That's dumb. That's
Their
never going to work.
their argument is trying to get more numbers, but what they don't understand is their school sizes are not big enough. Is what I was going to say. The thing is, it's like we talked about last week.
Yeah, that would
The
work.
school
if you
sizes
combine.
are not
right
big enough
that
in
would
San
work.
Diego. That works in Texas.
Right.
When the
Or
schools
even
have
Northern
7,000
California. I mean, you've seen
kids.
Antioch. Antioch's got like
These
4
schools
high
are
schools up there
huge.
that are huge.
They're huge. I mean, that's just not.
You're pulling from 5,000 students as opposed
Right.
to 1,800 in San Diego.
I mean, Madison doesn't even have 1,000 kids.
That's nuts.
They
And
got
they're
like
in D1.
700 to 800 kids. They
And
have
that's
a really
nuts.
good. They have a really good football program.
By the way,
right
before we
now,
get
but-
too far off of everything, I think we got a little distracted with Coach's interview. I'm glad he came over. Appreciate it. I just want to take a moment to talk about Chris Thompson. I know we were on our top 10. We'll come back to just a second. I want to thank everybody who came out for Thompson's service, viewing, and his funeral. A special shout out and the prayers over Aurelio Morales, Coach Morales over at Mira Mesa, and Trace Thompson. Special prayers for you as well. We miss your dad. Love him. And just keep the Mira Mesa program in your thoughts and prayers. If you know anybody who coaches or plays over there, pick up a phone, check on these guys, make sure they're okay. Let's all come together as a family and make sure they're covered in love.
That's a tough thing to do, is try to now go out and play right. After
And
you
by the
lost
way,
your head
they're
coach.
headed to LA.
They're going
play.
to Loyola.
Yep, they're playing at
Yeah,
Loyola.
yeah, that's right. The game is at Loyola, so now they're going to have to do that without their head coach, and it's their first game back because they missed last week. And
2 weeks because of COVID.
right,
Two
they had that week, and then they missed last week again, and then
Yep.
now they got to go play. Now they got to go out there and play. And that's difficult to do. We've seen
Yep.
that before. Any type of tragedy that happens in a program, it's tough to bounce back from. It's
Absolutely.
tough to bring the energy and be like, all right, let's go and put the distractions.
But you know what?
aside.
I'll tell you this. I got to go by practice this week. And, it was hard for me, number one, because I'm on the campus in Mira Mesa, and everywhere I go up Mira Mesa, there's a Chris Thompson memory.
Right.
Everywhere
He
I
was
go. So
Mira Mesa
I'm
football.
kind of haunted by the guy. I'm like, I don't know if I'm coming back or I want to be here. But when I'm on the football field, and it really has got him, dialed in, you've got Coach Lomax over there. You've got all these coaches that are so dedicated and love Chris so much that they're putting their emotions aside, and they are fully focused on football. And so I wouldn't be surprised that Mira Mesa comes out with a big win this week.
When I found out that Chris Thompson was going to got the job at Mira Mesa, I was fired up because Mira Mesa used to be the powerhouse,
the Mecca.
in the city. I mean, they were the best team, and I've gotten to interview Chris Thompson a handful of times, and he loved saying the phrase because he knew I was a Cathedral guy. We got to get back to a situation where Cathedral and Saints are playing for second place
Ooh.
in the Western League.
He always told me that if he kept all his Mira Mesa guys home, that they'd win.
They would.
So
I mean, go down the list of the best running. Like a lot of the best running backs at Cathedral came from Mira Mesa.
did you know, by the way, speaking of it, did you know that Mira Mesa is the largest unincorporated city in the county of San Diego?
Unincorporated. What are you talking about? Like the largest
Unincorporated
San Diego.
city. It has the most
neighborhood.
population. The most population for an unincorporated city in the county of San Diego.
So like area that's not its own city because
Yep.
it's part of the city limits
Yes,
of San Diego.
correct.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Just based on Mira Mesa Boulevard being packed at all
Yep.
times. But yeah, I think that was a great comment. I think he made was that was the goal for Mira Mesa to get him back, and that's kind of the attitude
That's
you
his
need to
legacy.
have. That's the attitude you need to have if you want to be.
All right, let's finish out this
Yeah.
top 10 for the UT. 'Cause
So
otherwise,
I had
listen.
mine. The Cathedral, Carlsbad, Lincoln, Mater Dei, and Mission Hills, the top 5, as voted on by 25 members in media members in San Diego and administrators and what have you. Torrey Pine 6, Script Ranch 7, Madison 8, Eastlake 9, Helix 10, Santa Fe Christian, Mount Carmel, El Camino, Oceanside, Poway, Del Norte, and El Cap all received votes.
So here I got a couple of issues with that. First of all, I look at modern day strength of schedule. I mean, it's a negative 14.3, I believe it is.
It's not good, but
They haven't played anybody. How do you rank the team number
but Chris,
4?
we talked about
You
talked
put 'em
about
at
this.
number 4.
We talked about this. After the top 3, who do you go with?
Listen, I'll be honest. I think
I was
if
doing the
Scripps-
same thing
listen,
filling out my
I think
filling
if
out mine.
Scripps plays Modern Day head to head right now, Scripps wins that game.
You think Scripps Ranch is the fourth best team in the state?
I'm just saying. No, I don't think that Modern Day is the fourth best team.
I don't necessarily think that either, but I have Mission Hills for it. If Mission Hills played Modern Day right now, who's winning?
Mission Hills.
Mission Hills. So I got to put them for it, right?
I would agree with that.
And then you go down to the next one, and I honestly
think Torrey Pines would beat
Modern Day.
Modern Day.
I agree. That's why I had Torrey Pines higher than Modern Day.
I think Madison would beat Modern Day.
I think that'd be a good game.
I think there's even a
I
possibility.
think that game. If it was, I think Vegas has that line at 1.5.
Listen, I think right now Eastlake beats Modern Day.
We get to see that later.
Just saying.
I think they could do that too. Until Modern Day
So
beating La
four,
Jolla. Modern Day
way
beating
too
La Jolla
high.
this week ain't gonna change my opinion on that either.
Well, here's the other
Gotta
part.
play somebody better.
I don't even know that La Jolla is going to be at full strength. We
It
don't
doesn't
know.
even matter.
We
Even
don't-
if they weren't going to beat Modern Day.
You don't think La Jolla would beat Modern Day?
They lost to Del Norte, and don't tell me the quarterback. I know the quarterback was out, but they were losing before he got out.
So you're saying the magic is gone in the Viking program?
I mean,
You're not a believer anymore?
I'm not that big of a believer right now in La Jolla.
Oh.
They're one in. What are they? One in.
Tyler, I will text you Braden's phone number, and you guys
I
have
have
this
Tyler's
private
number.
conversation.
I have Tyler's number.
Listen,
I
listen.
love what they've done with the program, but at this, what are they?
Captain Roach,
One and three?
Captain Roach, I'm still believing in your Vikings. I still believe you guys are one of the tougher teams in San Diego. I still think you're a top 10 team.
How many
out there and get
Western
it
League
done.
wins are they gonna have?
Ouch.
I'm asking. Well, think about it.
Ouch.
Why say ouch?
I don't know if they beat anybody.
Their
in the
non-league.
Western League.
Their non-league's almost over. So
I
they
don't know. I don't know.
Did they beat Modern Day? Did they beat Modern Day tonight?
Yes,
Do you think so?
I do. What's
Good.
the spread?
I have to look it up. We'll get to the game picks in a second. That was the top 10. It's tough. It's tough to pick the top 10.
Yeah,
up to the
outside,
top three.
like we said, outside of 1, 2, 3, it's like it's a freaking coin toss.
Let's go to game picks then. Okay, let's go to game picks. We'll start.
And by the way,
That's not the one.
if a team only plays 2 games and they're griping that everybody's sleeping on them,
You can't say that.
you have to stop saying that. And the other thing is,
Tell us how you really feel.
if you have an opinion about thinking a team is ducking you, don't go to social media with it. Pick up a phone, call the head
Call
coach, have a conversation, man to man. That's all I'm saying. I've seen a lot of stuff on social media. If you need a game and nobody wants to play you, do what everybody else does. Get on the phone, call somebody until you can get a game.
All right. We'll start with Modern Day La Jolla.
I'm taking La Jolla.
Okay, Modern Day's favored by 9.
I'm taking La Jolla.
Taking La Jolla plus 9.
Yep.
Good pick. I'm taking Modern Day.
Giving up 9?
Yes.
All right. What else we
They
got?
don't have. Is Stratton playing tonight or not?
I don't know. Early in the week, I heard he was in a sling. His mom said he was okay. I don't know. I don't know what's going
And
to
the
happen
thing is,
there.
we're not allowed to know. He's a high school kid,
Right.
So it's not like we could make big decisions on anything.
No.
Number 23 ranked La Jolla against number 7 ranked Modern Day according to the CalPrep rank. So I got Modern Day. We'll go to the next one. Lincoln at Steel Canyon. I got Lincoln by a lot.
I'll take Lincoln over Steel. Steel won a game yet?
Yes, they're one of
They're
three.
1 and 3. Okay.
They're 1-3. They've lost. So far they're 0-2 against the Western League. About to be 0-3, and then they got Cathedral next week.
Jeez.
Oceanside at Torrey Pines. Interesting Avocado League game. Oceanside 14th in the county. Torrey Pines is ranked 5th according to the CalPreps rankings. Both teams are 2-1.
What's
I
the
like
spread?
the Falcons. Spread until October. I'm gonna have to do it manually, which is kind of a pain. Start talking about the game then. What are your factors on this one?
I just think Torrey Pines. I mean, I saw them against Cathedral earlier this year.
5 turnovers.
They are a dog. They are in a fight. They fight tooth and nail. I
They
think
get back
Torrey's
up?
going to win the game. I just don't know what the spread is. What's the spread?
The projected matchup is Torrey Pines 42, Oceanside 14.
I think that's right. I think that's about
What
right.
is that? 35 points?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
You think they covered 35
I
points?
I think they cover it.
Oceanside beat Saints.
What are you saying, Todd?
I'm just saying they beat Saints.
Saints has won what?
Plus 35. 35
Saints
is a
has
lot.
won what?
35 is a lot of points.
Saints
Chris.
has won what?
They beat Steel.
Who's 1 and 3?
That's right.
What's your argument here?
I'm just saying.
What's your argument?
I don't think Torrey's. I think they have to score that many points.
I do. I think you see him
All right,
open
the
up.
only way Torrey Pines
And I think the secondary
here's
from
how
Oceanside is super questionable.
here's how Torrey
They're
Pines
super
here's how
questionable.
Torrey Pines. Who cares? They run the ball. Here's how Torrey Pines. But it's the way they run their
You watch
offense.
your PPR tonight remotely? Put a
We-
little side wager on the fact
Can we
that they
do
have
that?
over 200 yards passing tonight.
200 yards passing.
Yeah,
Torrey
that Torrey
Pines.
does. A little side wager,
No,
just man to man,
no,
in front of everybody.
no.
Okay.
Plus, 35 points is a lot for an offense that runs the ball. I mean, all right. So this is how they do that. They score quickly,
And
hope
often.
and hope Oceanside goes 3 and out very fast.
They will.
Because they throw the ball. 35 is a lot. Torrey wins by 28.
Okay. Next game.
Next game, St. Augustine, Helix,
Taking Helix.
Highlanders. Absolutely. I don't even know what the spread is. I'm taking Helix. El Camino. I'm
Listen,
not even going to pick that game.
until. Well, you don't want to.
El Camino's going to beat
Westview?
Westview by 100.
Really? 100?
They're not 100. Nobody can score 100 points, but they'll
All right.
beat them by a lot.
Back to the Saints Helix game before we move on. Until Saints shows me something, I ain't betting on them.
They're in trouble. They're in a world of hurt. I mean,
How was they get to the Western League? Did they win a game in the Western League?
they beat La Jolla.
Really?
I asked you like 5 minutes ago, does La Jolla win a Western
Yeah,
League
and I
game?
said
And you
no.
said you were like mad at me for
it was
being
kind
mean.
of. Yeah, it was kind of. Yeah, you're probably right about that. I'll give you that one.
Saints will definitely beat La Jolla.
Jesus, does
I
that
don't
mean
know
a
if
2-8 season?
I don't know if they beat Madison.
Does that mean they're 2-8? Hey, look, it's Derek Wu. What up, Wu Tang?
All right. Who else does Saints play?
El Camino.
They already played El Camino.
They said who else did they?
No,
do they
who
play?
else do they play?
Don't they play Loyola?
They used to play Loyola. I don't think they
All
play
right,
Loyola
let's go on.
anymore.
I don't know.
Next
Move
game,
on.
Granite Hills at Otay Ranch. That's kind of interesting. I don't
I'm
mind that
taking
game.
Otay.
I like Otay too. Granite's kind of fallen off. Last
Yeah.
week was. Were you surprised about last week
I
against East Lake?
I was. That was
We
a
weren't-
good
we weren't really-
old-fashioned ass whooping.
We weren't really high on East Lake's offense, but they obviously.
Dude,
I know
Jordan,
their defense.
by the
is
way,
dirty.
if I want to give a shout out, because I don't know if we're going to get to any awards this week, but I definitely want to give a shout out to one kid who can't stand me, which there's a lot of kids like that. But I want to give
There's
a
a lot
shout
of
out.
adults like that.
There's a lot of people like that.
That's
Okay.
right. Like everybody up in the Bay Area when you wear the brown and gold.
I don't. And ask me. There's one thing you got to know. Today is brought to you by the number what?
I don't give a damn.
0.
Zero.
That's a number of F's given.
Oh
Okay.
man, it's a
Boom!
kid
I had to
show.
drop that in there. Anyway,
Uh,
I got to give a shout out. Wait, hold on. Jordan Blondin. I want to give a shout out to Jordan Blondin. Jordan Blondin taking over at quarterback has really made a huge difference in Eastlake. The kid's very athletic. He's a NCAA recruit. He's a wide receiver, but he took one for the team and decided to go to quarterback after the injury to the sophomore quarterback, and he's given them a new life and a new lease on life for that offense. And Jordan has done a fantastic job. So I want to give Jordan a shout out for that. Great leadership, great one taking one for the team. Jordan, good job.
here's St. Augustine's schedule after Helix this week. They got Mater Day on the road.
Marte Vasco.
No, South Chula Vista,
Okay.
and then they got Lincoln, Madison, Cathedral, La Jolla.
2-8. 3-7.
3-7.
We'll go 3-7.
Granite Hills at Otay. Did we pick this? I got Otay.
I'm taking Otay.
Vista at Poway.
I'm taking Poway.
I think Poway. They didn't look good against Torrey Pines.
it's Troy Pines, dude.
I know. I told you.
Vista's program right now.
I
though,
told
yeah,
you.
I think Vista's.
I
This is
told
not what
you-
it was when Desmond Tua was there.
It wasn't. Yeah. It's
not.
Or Coach, whatever the coach name, Big Red Machine that they had up there. But I already said at the beginning part of the podcast, Torrey Pines is making the open.
You did.
Santa Fe Christian should smash Southwest El Centro, correct?
Agreed.
Ramona should be Fallbrook, correct?
Agreed.
Rancho Bernardo del Norte.
I'm
Is
taking
it
Del
interesting?
Norte. Nope, I'm taking Del Norte.
Really?
Shit, Del Norte just knocked off La Jolla. They play some close games.
Let me ask you
They've
this.
got a phenomenal playmaker that's a wide receiver corner over there that is a game changer. I'm taking Del Norte, dude.
If Del Norte beats Rancho Bernardo, what does that mean for El Camino?
I don't know what.
El Camino lost to Grossmont, who got embarrassed by Rancho Bernardo.
So that means El Camino's what?
And I'm asking you.
I don't know.
You
That's
got
a
Del
whole lot of
Norte.
scenarios.
I
dude.
got RB. in
And
that
listen,
game.
I have a two-way scenario like blocker. If you start going to 3, if this guy beat this guy, who beat this guy, I'm lost.
It's not even that far.
I can't do the math. bro.
LCC by a lot against San Marcos.
Agreed.
Mira Mesa at Loyola. You picked the Marauders.
I'm taking Marauders. Yep.
On the trip up.
Yep.
I think Loyola wins.
I'm
but
taking Coach
backing-
Morales and my boy. Wait, you picked Loyola?
They're 3-1.
Don't you live in the Scripps Ranch Mira Mesa area?
I live in the Scripps side of the Mira Mesa border.
So what? It's in
I'm
that
rooting
corridor,
for Mira
right?
Mesa.
Then you better pick them. Stick with our guys.
I'm rooting for them to win. I just don't think they will.
Ouch. Okay, there it is. You heard it from him.
I just don't.
When
think
you
they
guys
will.
win, just remember.
Hey,
I
you know
picked
what? Maybe my picking with Mira Mesa is like you with Madison.
Why you gotta go there?
Whatever you pick in
All
the
right,
Madison
next
game,
game,
the opposite
next game.
happens.
Grossmont's playing El Cajon Valley. Is that
They're not playing Cajon. They're playing El Cajon Valley.
Then Grossmont
Yes, by a lot.
by a whole lot.
Christian going out east to take on Central.
Christian
by a lot.
Yep.
Good game.
Here's the one. Here's the one though. To me, whoever wins this game gets in the open. The other guy is out the open. This game right here has huge implications on playoffs. This is everyone should keep an eye on this
I'm
game
gonna
right here.
gonna say this: if Carlsbad loses, they still have a chance to get the open. If Mission Hills loses, they're out. And my argument to that again is we go back to the top 10. Who else is it going to be?
Well, here's the deal.
Because it can't be Modern Day because they're a
Here's
Division
the deal.
3
This
school.
is what I think. If Mission Hills wins and Carlsbad loses, there's a chance for two teams from.
I think there's
the
two
Avocado
teams.
get in.
I think there's two teams regardless.
If not, I think there's going to be two teams. So you're telling me this is going to be Western League and Avocado League only?
Period.
Wow.
Who else is
Nobody.
in?
Nobody
Who
else
else is in?
Nobody else.
No. Who do you got? Who else is making the
I
open?
think another team squeaks in.
Who?
Master, that team has.
You have to give me some.
All right,
Don't be
give me
the
a name.
guy.
Hold on.
Come
Hold
on.
on. Hold on. Okay,
Who
you
is
wanna
it gonna
the guy.
be?
Who's it going to be?
The best team right now in East County is Helix. Is it going to be them?
No.
No. The best team in the South Bay is who? That's D1. Eastlake? Is it going to be them? Who is it going to be? I mean, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
man.
it.
Ooh, this slim
It's
picking,
going to
bro.
be the top two teams out of the Avocado League and the top two teams out of the Western League. It's Cathedral, Lincoln, and then it's going to be Carlsbad, I think, even
I'm
if they
gonna
lose
say
two
this.
games.
If
And I think
Eastlake
it's gonna be
wins
Torrey
the
Pines.
table, there's a chance they get in.
Well, the thing is, it's like I can't. They
Because,
have a
listen,
chance because
if
of
they
the
beat
new
if they
the
beat
new rating system.
if they beat Modern Day, who's that high, right?
right,
And then they run the table for the rest of their games.
do they get
They
credit
get in.
for that though? Because Modern Day's a D3 school. Remember
Doesn't matter.
that? No,
Yeah,
that's a factor.
That is a factor.
So they don't get the same amount of points as
Man, they're
Modern Day
gonna
was
get screwed, huh?
D1.
They're gonna
Yeah.
get screwed, aren't they?
Are they going to get screwed?
Well, hold on.
If you're Eastlake, hold on, listen. If you're Eastlake, do you really want to be in the Open this year,
You know what's
or would
you
you
know,
rather have a top 4 team out of the?
you know what would be interesting? There's actually a way. If I open this up, there's a way. I want to look at Poway's schedule.
How is a D2 school? They're D2.
Are they?
They're D2.
No,
I'm telling you. So who?
No matter how you say it.
Who is it going to be?
I think it's gonna be Eastlake. What about? Well, yeah, it's either gonna be Torrey, Mission Hills, Carlsbad, or Eastlake. Those are your four, and the likelihood of it being 2 Avocado or higher. I think you're right.
It's going to be 2 Avocado League schools.
I think you're right.
It's absolutely going to be.
You very well could be right on this one.
I'll pull up the San Diego section Division 1 rankings. I know it's not CIS, but it's going to be close. Cathedral, Lincoln, Carlsbad, Mission Hills. The next team's Torrey, then it's Helix, then El Camino. Eastlake's down at 8 right now.
But if they knock off, they're not going to get enough because
They're not going to get enough. And the teams, unless Helix gets in as a 4,
So Helix could still get in.
it's possible, I guess.
Wow.
But
Wow.
I just don't think it's. I think it's going to be either Torrey. I think the playoffs are already set. I think team wise it's going to be Cathedral, Lincoln, and Carlsbad, and I think Mission Hills and Torrey are battling it out for that Final 4 spot.
Yep. And I said Mission Hills. Remember?
And I think Torrey makes it.
Yep. I picked Mission. All right. Well, there you go.
Isn't that kind of sad?
Yeah.
We already got
we're 4 games into it. We
already
who's
know.
gonna be there.
We already know, unless something drastic happens.
Right.
But even that. So
I mean,
that's
well, there's not a lot can happen from here out because
I'm going to finish the show like we started the show.
What's that?
We underestimated how much of an impact taking a year off of football has had on San Diego County.
100% agree with that.
We totally underestimated that because remember in the spring it was like not everybody got to play, and
by the way,
highlights were just
Can
not
I
very
add something?
good.
Can I add some of that?
Yeah.
There were a lot of coaches that were running around and saying, Oh, the privates got to practice during COVID. Oh, the privates got to do this during COVID. Here's what I want to say to that. If that were remotely true, what's going on with Saints?
Right.
If
No,
that was even
you're
remotely
right.
true, what's going on with Saints? So I don't think that advantage that is being claimed is the reason for why there's a
Well,
disparity in
think
football.
about this too. Like, just from my experience at Cathedral, the only ones that were able to work out at all were the juniors and seniors last year, which means the juniors now on the varsity team are way behind,
Right.
and so are the sophomores, and
Yep.
that's not including, by the way, all the
That's your
freshmen
depth,
that didn't even get to play
and that's your depth.
because the majority of that
Hey,
class last year was
You see what time it is?
one. Yeah, we gotta get going because
We gotta
the
get
bus
going.
is gonna leave, and
Yeah.
I can't be left.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
All right.
I'm gonna have to hang out here with Chris all day.
Don't do that.
Ooh.
No.
No parties tonight if the Dons win, and no
Why
sad
not?
parties if the Dons lose.
I want to come on, man. I want to get
NBC
my
Sweep's
crunk.
gonna kick us out of here.
I want to get my crunk on.
Where's the post game meal gonna be? We're going In and Out.
Dude, no. Since we in the Bay, we have to go to.
You got a spot?
I got a spot, bro. We got a guy lived up here. He says we have to go to Nation's Burger.
How far is that?
I have no idea. Does it matter?
If it's on the other side of the bay.
I think if people want you. All right, we
Josh
got
Jacko, legendary Don, part of one of the best defenses in the Dons history, class of 2010. He was a senior as a freshman. Had a good secondary. He's top dog, Chris Smith. I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for tuning in. Big special thanks to Sean Doyle for joining us today. And
Thanks,
thank you
Coach. Appreciate you.
to the hotel up here at Walnut Creek for letting us do the show. And thanks to Calvin Pierce back at San Diego
TSC
running the board.
TSC Sports.
So that's it for us. We'll see you.